Hey guys, what's up YouTube? DWally19 here. So I'm doing I think I'm gonna do a series now on the other cars I was considering and was this close to buying before I decided on the STI. Also, I'm back to work this week. I'm commuting in my car, and I haven't been where it's been too much traffic, but for the most part, it's pretty good. So, but I'll do a whole nother video. I'm gonna do an update. I'm almost at 1,500 miles, and I'll do one then for when I get the oil changed and my impressions on commuting with this thing. So the first car I want to start off with that I was literally, it was between the STI and this other car, and I was so close to buying it. The other car I was considering, the good old arch rival, was the an Evo 10. I was so close to driving down to Texas and getting an Evo 10 final edition. So I test drove both cars back to back one time, and I was lucky to. And they were both used but very low mileage, and so I got to have fun with both of them. The salesman let me take them on the highway and do some pulls, and to see how they handled and all that. So what I love about the Evo, first I'll do with the positives. I love the styling. I still think the car looks phenomenal, and it's what, eight years old at this point. Still looks amazing. Every time I see one, I'm like, dang, that is one amazing looking car. I think they look awesome. I love the front of the car with that massive grille, and it just looks mean. It looks aggressive. I think the rear is severely underrated with those angled taillights. I think it looks, aesthetics, I think it's close between that and the new STI. So I loved how it looked. I know the performance was there. It felt fast, you know. I could tell it felt like I was on rails just as much, if not more, than the STI. I loved the looks. I knew the performance was there. And now that I'm thinking about it, I guess that's it. The price was all right too. They were selling them at this dealership for basically around the same price as a base STI, almost. I think it was like 36, or maybe even like a final edition was 35 something. But then I had to drive down there and whatever. But so those are the things that I liked. I knew the performance was there. Styling wise, the exterior was awesome. Things that drew me towards the STI or pushed me away from the Evo was definitely the interior, and it felt dated. I know when you're buying these cars, you're like, oh, well, you shouldn't think about the interior. Who cares? If you love it, you just drive it. True and false. Like, you don't spend the majority of your time outside of car looking at it. I remember my dad told me this. He's like, you gotta like what your car looks like on the inside, because you're gonna be staring at it all the time, and you're gonna be sitting in it, and you're gonna be living in it. And it's true. Especially at $35,000, like, I'm allowed to expect some form of decent interior. I know I'm paying for performance, but at the same time, like, you live in here. Like, this is important. I look at this every day. I'm not looking at the outside of the car for the time I'm driving it. I'm in here living in it. The Evo's interior was, the final edition, hands down, was actually really nice. I actually preferred the non-Recaros. I liked the side bolstering of the Recaros, the one I test drove, but that wasn't the problem. That felt good. And to be honest, these feel almost just as bolstered sidewise. Like, these seats are really underrated. And I love the look of the Recaros, but my problem with the Recaros was the bottom. And by no means do I have like a huge ass or anything. But I mean, I work out, and I don't think my legs are huge, but I mean, I'm not like, I'm 6'3", I'm 195, and for some reason, those seats just pinched my legs together. Like, I was more uncomfortable with that than I was with any other car I'd ever sat in. And it was just the bottom part. I just felt like it was crushing my legs. So I didn't like the seats. I did like the seats on the final edition. They were actually more comfortable, not as aggressive, obviously. They felt a little cheap, the cloth. So, whatever. I actually like the seats in the final edition. But that was a concern getting a used one or a previous model with the Recaros. Probably, I actually liked the look of the final editions. It was very nice. It had a piano black plastic finish on everything. The gear shifter and the knob was really nice. But I didn't like how it was a 5-speed. That just seemed like a step back to me. The touchscreen was so basic and just way more basic and just not impressive than this unit. And the thing that I really was probably the #1 deal breaker interior wise, which may sound stupid, but it was the fact that the steering wheel it could tilt, but you couldn't telescope it. Like, I felt like I was like reaching out for it. This is just so underrated to be able to move your steering wheel so close to you. Like, I like sitting decently close and grabbing the wheel and having it close to me because I feel like I have more control. I hated that you couldn't telescope the wheel. That was a huge thing. And also, for the money and the STI, a base STI, you get the HIDs. You got HIDs with the final edition. The final edition's wheels were really nice. But just comparing the two cars, besides numbers, besides performance, we all know that they're very similar and they perform really well. I just started to think about, man, for the money, you just get more with the STI. Yeah, they're both old engines, but I hadn't experienced either, so it was both new to me. But for the money, you just get more with the STI. I got heated seats, I got the Alcantara, I got the partial leather. You got actually, the Evo had great rear back passenger seat space. As good as the STI, but this is probably actually more. You got those seats. You got a full trunk in the STI. The STI's trunk and WRX's are deceptively huge. Like, you can fit so much back there. I've heard some reviewers or people complain about the trunk space. I think it's massive back there. I don't know how much bigger they could have gotten. You have a full functional trunk in a WRX or STI. And the Evo, it was tiny, and that was without the subwoofer that's usually built in for some packages. The Evo, I know they've got the battery and the windshield washer fluid back there, but it takes away space and you can't fold it down. Like, there's some practicality with this car and this trunk. Not that I'm always traveling, not that I'm always, but it's nice to have. So you didn't have a good trunk. What was the other thing that you just didn't get for the money? I think I covered it, but like, so yeah, so it really came down to just, oh, and I forgot to say, it felt old. Like, when I drove them back to back, the Evo felt like it was an old car. The WRX definitely felt more modern. I love the sound. And I know you can always do things for sound afterwards, but I don't know how much I'm gonna do to the car. I didn't know how much money I'd have to do to an Evo. So, I mean, stock for stock, I just felt like the STI was the better bargain at the price and just as good of a performer. People still say the Evo 10 outperforms the STI track, and I'm sure it does, and I'm sure it's amazing. Like, I still think about the Evo 10s. I whenever I see them, I feel like they're amazing, and I really felt like, especially since they stopped making them, that maybe it was a time to get one. But I just couldn't get over long term everything that this car gives you that the Evo just didn't. But I have nothing but respect for the Evo 10. I love them. I still see them. I give them waves. There's this one that parks at the gym I go to, especially in white. Ooh, that wicked white. The spoiler and those tail lights, and get some black wheels on it. I think the Evo 10s look amazing. So Anyway, that's just my thoughts on the Evo 10. Love it. This close to buying a final edition, especially with those nice little touches, the painted roof and the wheels, the extra horsepower and torque. But I couldn't get over the interior dynamics of it, and it just felt old, really. It just didn't compare. So, like I said, love Evo 10s. So close, so close. Nothing but respect. Love the car. Who knows, if things were different, or I might be driving an Evo 10 right now, but those little things, they just added up, and I'm so glad I've gone with this car, and the more and more I drive it, the more and more I love it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Evo 10. Oh, thanks if you're still watching this. I've got like over 100 subscribers. I think that's crazy. When I made these videos, I didn't anticipate that at all, so thank you for everyone who's subscribed. I'm gonna try to do my best to do more videos. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'm gonna tell you about my next possible vehicle purchase in an upcoming video. Thanks, guys.